This is a mock interview conducted by ForumIAS Academy at New Delhi. The interview panel includes eminent academicians, retired bureaucrats, and other luminaries. The objective of the program is to acquaint the candidate with the format and expectations of the personality test conducted by UPSC.
May I come in, sir?
Come in.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Good morning.
Take a seat. Tejas,
Yes, sir.
you from Bengaluru,
Yes, sir.
Karnataka.
Yes, sir.
Your option was political science and international relations.
Yes, sir.
You have done industrial engineering management.
Yes, sir.
Industrial engineering management are all together.
Industrial engineering and management. So
And-
it's all together.
Okay. Your hobbies are fundamental analysis and investment in equities market.
Yes, sir.
Okay, reading biographies and autobiographies of athletes. You've been associated with a lot of sporting activities, it
Yes, sir.
seems.
Yes, sir.
Good. Okay. You've done IR.
Yes, sir.
If I say that the various regional international groups are fluid coalitions,
Yes, sir.
India as a member does not gain in strength as a geopolitical power. What is your opinion on this?
What we see is the rigid regional arrangements that were there earlier were not very agile enough to adapt for the changing circumstances. So I think the flexibility that that we are looking at, that could be either in BIMSTEC or even the Quad, where we don't have a specific charter as such, but we are going to associate with the other members based on our interests, sir. So I think it is going to work in our favor.
Okay. What do you think between BRICS and Quad, India is monkey balancing?
Both of these have different purposes for which they were made. If you have to talk about BRICS, it was built as an institution, as a bulwark against the Western dominated associations. That's mainly the G7 and G20s. And if you have to talk about the Quad, it was mainly, I can say that the strategic convergence was with respect to the emerging technologies that we can cooperate with, and also act as a bulwark against China, which is increasing its aggressiveness in the Indian Ocean region. So I think both have their own different utilities, sir.
Both are important.
Yes, sir, both are important.
Okay. The Russian resurgence
Yes, sir.
aided by China.
Yes, sir.
Should Europe be worried?
I think Europe should be worried because so what we see is the emergence, we can say, of a new Cold War where the East and West is divided. So the Europe, which has always been speaking of economic integration and peace with respect to the region itself, I think that is going to be hindered, sir.
France and now Poland have been talking about sending troops to Ukraine. You think that will lead to further tensions or not?
Yes, sir. It will lead to further tensions, and it will. I don't know if it would be feasible in the NATO framework that they're in, that they can send their personnel to a third country to fight their war. But of course, it will lead to the spillover of the war to other regions as well, I feel.
Okay, my last question. Can you compare the Chinese economy with our economy? How are they performing?
At present, I feel the Indian economy is doing well. Even in the future, it looks well. mainly because the Chinese economy is seeing a slowdown, mainly aided by the real estate crisis, as well as the excessive interference of the government, the Communist Party, in the private sector. So earlier it was believed that private sector is going to be having their own autonomy, but now we are seeing the increasing incursion. Coming to the Indian side, I feel whatever we have been doing, the structural reforms and the geopolitical space that we are in, I think we are in a much better place when we look.
What structural reforms have we done?
The biggest structural reforms was the 1990 economic liberalization, and post 2010 also we have, not only post 2010, from then we have made structural reforms like the GST which we implemented, the bankruptcy code, setting up of bad banks, cleaning up of the balance sheet of the public sector units, as well as the corporate reforms that we've been doing. I think these are the structural reforms that we have done, sir. And also the digital India growth, I think that itself is a major factor.
Private capital is flying out of China.
Yes, sir.
Do you agree? It's happening.
Actually, if we look at the last quarter, the FDI, net FDI was actually negative. So it has never been seen in the past many years that the net FDI has been negative from China. So I feel
Why is this happening?
So as I said, first of all, there is excessive interference of the Communist Party inside the corporate affairs, as well as we see a growing gap between US and China. So there could be possible geopolitical implications in the long term, which is not good for the investors as such.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Tejas.
Yes, sir.
Bengaluru.
Yes.
In Bengaluru, in general, it is water on fire. It is the other way, fire on water. Say something about it.
If I can correlate it to what's happening now, we have extreme water crisis which is happening. So that is what I can relate.
That is one, but there was fire in a lake.
Yes, Bellandur Lake.
So that is what I want to say. In general, to extinguish fire, we used to pot water, but it was other way. So what is that reason? What was the basic?
Actually, a lot of industrial effluents were drained into the lake without treatment. So this in turn, so there was some chemical reactions, methane generation as well. So because of that, we had fire on the
Even
lake.
then, fire should not happen.
It should not happen. So that shows the pathetic state of the lake.
Basically, the concentration of that acidic material or whatever it is,
Yes, sir.
it was very, very high.
Yes, sir.
Meaning it is the industrial pollution directly, whatever highest hazardous waste
Yes, sir.
material that was put into, means that what kind of industries are being there over.
Yes, sir.
Nobody is looking after what if you will be there, then what you will do in such situation as a administrator.
I would be, I think, looking after it proactively and making sure that environment is not harmed at the cost of industries for their profits, or to reduce their cost of processing the.
Nowadays, water crises are there in Bangalore.
Yes.
What do you want to say?
That's a sad reality. So even with respect to a lot of my relatives who are staying, so there is rationing of water.
What should be the remedy?
One would be to is augmenting the resources that Bangalore.
That is one.
So we are blessed with a lot of lakes, but most of them have run dry. I think we need to rejuvenate that, remove the encroachments around it, and also we need to make a breathable, percolatable cities. In the sense, it's completely covered with concrete, which hinders the percolation of water into groundwater. Then also, I think we can the Mekedatu project. So it's about building a new dam on the Kaveri River, which is much closer to Bangalore. I think if we are able to do that and pump more water into Bangalore, I think we should be able to solve the problem.
There should be a carrying capacity study of each site.
Yes.
Many a times we are rising into the air and the water cannot be fulfilled. Okay. You have industrial engineering management.
Yes, sir.
Now, industries, Indian industries, still we are not making tertiary or usable items to that extent. Still we are dependent on more on China for even common. How to cope up with this? Should we put import tax much more, or do we what we should do?
Import tax itself, I don't think can be a long-term solution, because it in principle doesn't help to increase the
Because
competitiveness.
if import tax will be there, then the material will be little costly. So we will be putting up our material there.
Yes, sir. For a short term, yes, we will be able to supply at a lesser price, but that doesn't expose us to the competition which is prevalent outside. So we will be always artificially be trying to cope up with the price. So better would be to focus more on innovation and focusing on industries where we are having more imports. For example, simplest things like toys. So if we are able to focus more on these smaller things, I think we would be able to get over the import dependencies.
Okay. Pakistan now it has got its assembly, president, and everything. Do you think the situation will change more toward political than the army ruled or ISI ruled?
That's highly doubtful, considering it's a very deep state and the army controls almost everything what happens in the political sphere. Even if you look at the government formation, the majority was with the independence backed by Imran Khan, but government is formed by somebody else. So I don't think that we can expect a lot of optimism in terms of...
Yeah, army, though, by force they are there, but by substance, army is now able to pose itself in the world arena at the moment.
We did see a lot of backlash in terms of, we saw direct attacks on the army generals itself a few months back. So there is definitely that undercurrent which is prevalent, but still they are able to hold on to their own hegemony, sir.
Okay. Just talking about G4, basically why now G4 has come up in the United Nations?
So G4 are the new aspiring countries who aim for the permanent seat in Security Council, that is mainly India, Japan, Brazil and Germany. So we think that we have the rightful place in the Security Council, sir.
Why they have come up? What is the strength of these countries?
One is the economic strength that we all have, and all of us have been democracies. And if we consider Germany, Japan, India, all these countries were not doing that well when United Nations was formed during the, immediately after the Cold War. But all of us have developed ourselves, and we feel we have the rightful place in the United.
It is basically economic and political influence what G5 are doing. So G4 are equally doing the same thing.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the last, if you will be as a district officer or something like that, now there are two schemes. One is solar earlier and solar new. How you will go with these two? How will you satisfy people that, okay, take this or take that?
I'm sorry, sir, I'm not aware of the specific.
Okay, solar panels on the houses.
Yes, sir.
The new scheme has been launched recently.
Yes, sir.
There was already a scheme. What is the difference between these two?
The earlier solarization with respect to the rooftops, there was much lesser subsidy, and we were not having one single portal where we could apply for the subsidy. So they had to run around for processing the application. I think this is the main differences that I am aware of as of now.
Tejas,
Yes, sir.
you have political science as your optional.
Yes, sir.
Tell me, now in the arena of international affairs, something happened recently in the NATO.
Yes.
What was that?
I'm not able to grasp.
New countries joined NATO?
Yes, a new country.
Which new countries? What is the significance of this?
So the main war that Russia started was to prevent the expansion of NATO itself. So in order to prevent Ukraine, we can see that 2 other countries joined. And also before this war and all these backlashes, there was also a doubt within the NATO if NATO is necessary or if they're spending too much money on somebody else's
Tell me a
defense.
geostrategic significance of Sweden and Finland joining NATO.
So these countries are located in the Arctic Circle. So in case in the future, so global warming already happening and there is melting of the ice sheets there. So these regions will gain more strategic importance with respect to
How?
trade because those routes will be opened up for trade and we'll see more ships passing by.
All right. Now, sir asked about Pakistan. Tell me why or explain me the Pakistani politics in a minute. Take a minute and explain me the whole Pakistani politics. How did these elections unfold?
Elections.
You know who is the new Prime Minister of Pakistan?
Yes, sir.
Who is it?
Shahbaz Sharif.
Yes. How did he become the Prime Minister?
So the previous regime was led by Imran Khan and he himself was instated by the army there. During the elections, they supported him and were against Nawaz Sharif. But eventually what happened, he started talking against the army that the political class needs to get more power and army needs to subdue their authority. This didn't go well and eventually a lot of cases were filed and he had to be removed. Then I think the army came to a conclusion that Nawaz Sharif was much better and he was maybe lesser evil compared to in their perspective.
Okay.
So he was brought back again. So he was actually he was not allowed to enter Pakistan, but few rules were tweaked and he was allowed to enter.
India recently held a high-level meeting with the Taliban also.
Yes, a few days back in.
What is the significance of that meeting?
This would show that that we are actively engaging with the Taliban regime, and also in the long term we'll be looking at using.
Give me 3 significances.
Okay. One would be it will become our connectivity projects with Central Asia much easier facilitation, and also the assistance that we are providing to Afghanistan would be able to move in a much faster pace. And also our main objective that radicalization and terrorism should not emanate out of Afghanistan, I think we'll be able to take care of that.
Okay. What did J.S. Mill talk about in terms of freedom of speech and expression?
So he was a proponent of democracy and all the associated aspects of democracy that could be freedom of speech, expression, voting rights for women. And he said the only power that should control anybody's speech is speech itself. So there must be no other hindrances on anybody's speech.
What was the principle given by him?
Sorry sir, specifically I'm not able to recall.
Okay. You are into the research of equities market.
Yes sir.
What kind of research do you do?
I do fundamental analysis and long-term.
What is the fundamental analysis?
This is understanding the financials of the company and keeping the long-term perspective in mind, and also correlating with the present economic situation that we are in, and gauging as to what
Recently we saw unusual boom in the PSU sector in the equities market. What was the reason of that?
One is the increase in capex of the government. So it is believed that this is going to directly benefit the PSUs in terms of increasing their order book. And also we see financial performance of the PSUs been on a rising trend. I think this is the main reason why. And also, so there are specific reasons. If you have to come to the defense PSUs, so we are doing well. We are also exporting outside. So that's one. If we come to the, okay.
All right. Thank you, Tejas.
Thank you.
Tejas,
Yes.
you are basically an athlete, right?
Yes, sir.
And you have done industrial engineering, right?
Yes, sir.
Tell me something about India's sports industry.
Of late, what we see is resurgence in the sports and also industry as a whole. We see a lot of leagues happening, and also sport is becoming remunerative, and we also see that sport is becoming a more respectable career in India, sir.
I'm asking you about sports industry in India.
With respect to manufacturing of sports equipments,
Not only manufacturing, but also brand promotions, branding of the IPL or any other trophies. So all this comprise industry, right?
yes, sir.
It is a multi-billion-dollar game in
Yes,
India, right?
But
So explain me.
unfortunately, in the Indian context, so the industry itself, if we have to call it an industry, it's predominated by only cricket. So other sports, the niche that they have created.
Okay, let's talk about cricket then.
Yes, sir.
Okay, tell me how much money are involved, what are the various stakeholders involved.
Exact numbers, I'm not aware, sir. I'm sorry. Stakeholders, it would be the BCCI mainly, and the central government is not.
What about the sports equipment industry? Let's talk about sports equipment industry.
Yes, sir. Even in sports equipment industry, I think only.
For example, I will tell you one example. For example, Kashmiri bats, the
Yes.
bats that are made in Kashmir, using that Devdar or something. What is the material used?
They call it Kashmir willow. I don't know.
Kashmir, yes. So that can be made in industry. That can be made a potential.
Yes, sir.
So that Kashmiri youth also will be employed, and there will be a lot of business that can be created.
Yes, sir.
Like that, you tell me. I have given you one example.
Okay. So, with specific sports in areas around Chandigarh and Punjab, there's a big industry for manufacturing footballs. And if we come to which is my sport, that is shooting, I think we have done quite well, considering in the previous World Championship we had almost 50% of the medals won by athletes, and an Indian company called Kapapi were manufacturing. So there is, and coming to badminton, that is seen a big upsurge, and racket manufacturing facility, making shoes, it's all still outsourced to Japan, Taiwan. So I think there also we have a lot of potential, sir.
Yes. See, you are a acclaimed athlete. You have won so many medals, trophies, right?
Yes.
So why civil services?
Civil services was on my mind even before I started my sports career. And also I find right reasons to be in the service. My mother also is in the state government. So,
But country will be losing one good sportsman, right?
no, sir, I think I'll be continuing my sports even after getting into civil services.
Okay.
It was a decision that I made during COVID time that this was the time because competitions were not happening. And I thought I'll take a short break from my sports and I'll.
So don't you think it will impact your professional career?
But I don't think so, sir, because the time that I was giving for my sport, because I was a full-time student as well. I did my engineering. So I was able to manage my time
See,
pretty well.
engineering is different and civil services is different.
Yes, sir.
It is a 24/7 job. If you are a district collector or SP,
Yes, sir.
it is a 24/7 job. So how will you manage both? It will be very difficult.
Yes, sir. But I think if I have to give a positive role model in this, Suhas Selvi.
As a hobby, it is fine. But as a hobby, you can do rifle, you can do shooting and everything. But as a profession, as an athlete, it would be difficult along with your job, right? You have to leave it.
I don't think so. I should leave it because Suhas Selvi, he was the DM of Gautam Budh Nagar, but eventually he won the Paralympic silver medal in the 2021 Olympic Games. So if he's able to do it, being a DM of such a big district, I think if I'm able to manage my time well, and end of the day, this is a hobby. So it's a hobby itself which is converted into a professional thing for me.
So after that, what he did after winning that medal?
He's
still
back to
working?
his work.
He's back to his work.
Yes, sir. He's the secretary in UP Sports Department now.
Okay. So he got promotions everywhere. He maintains Insta account, YouTube account. He maintains Insta account.
I don't think he has an Instagram account.
Okay. So how did you know that he won? Through media.
News, and also I've known him personally because we had the same sponsors for me and him. The Go Sports Foundation, so they used to sponsor me and they sponsor him now. So I had some connections there, so I know him.
See, you can do much bigger things as an athlete.
Yes, sir.
You can bring laurels to India also.
Yes, sir.
So why are you coming into civils then?
Even civil services, I think I'll be able to do good work which will be productive for the country. And also bringing laurels for the country, that will, I'm sure that it will happen from my side.
Okay, I will ask you one last question. See, in India, there is lot of things to be done in sports arena.
Yes, sir.
Here, personal glorification we are talking about more. Personal interest versus national interest. Even sportsmen also, many of the time we have seen. In, for example, I will take the name of Kohli. He's more recently so much criticism against Kohli has happened. Even otherwise also, they are being paid like anything. They are like, if you compare with China government will promote the industry, that's it. No individual glorification. As a country, they have to bring laurel to the country. Right? You agree with my statement or not?
Yes, sir.
Right? So what needs to be done in India?
The reason for this personal glorification itself is because we have very less number of sports persons. So if we have more and more people winning, I don't think this personality cult will be there as much as we are seeing now. So that would be to improve the overall sporting infrastructure, the support that we provide, so that sports doesn't become a thing of just few people.
So it has improved.
It has definitely improved, sir.
How? Do you have any statistics to say in the last decade, let's say?
Yes, sir.
How sporting facilities has improved in India? How many athletes we have produced?
If you look at the Olympic medals that we have won, it's been on an increase. And also me being an athlete, I've seen the transformation which has happened over the 7 years of my shooting career. So definitely I can tell things have improved. We have new schemes like 𝐏𝐾 Target Olympic Podium, and also various state governments have come up with grassroots level programs. So I think we are going in the right direction, but still a lot needs to be done.
Tejas, you've done, how have you done? What is your
I think it was fine.
fine? And this is your second attempt?
Yes, sir. Second attempt, first interview.
First interview. You are quite good in your international relations and perhaps if I extrapolate what you know about international relations into other things, I'm sure you must be knowing equally well about the Indian economy, about the current affairs which are going on, about the constitution, important articles, the judgments of the Supreme Court recently.
Yes.
All these things you must be knowing. You have put a lot of entries in your DAF about sports and related
Yes, sir.
prizes, medals you have got. Even your position of leadership has a lot of sports in it.
Yes.
So you should be very well prepared in this area.
Yes, sir.
You will invite a lot of questions on this.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.